So I've just started the recording. So essentially today what we are going to go through is the RTO agent platform, which is an agent management system platform. Okay. So what screen that you're looking at is RTO agent, and you have obviously the home page that shows, and it shows your support address that you've set up in the system. And in the public portal, it is possible for direct students to put an application. So what we are looking at taking the application from the public portal is your student general information, some of those information which are mandatory, as you can see, first name, last name, email, and mobile, country of birth, nationality, and then we can have a look at other information such as sub-agents. So with the system, you have a super agent, you have a sub-agents as well. So that can be set up, and you can have a different kind of application, letter of offer, visa, or overseas student health cover, depending upon the services that you offer. So this is an application process, but that application can also be done by the staff portal. The agent registration is for your sub-agent or anybody interested who can submit the application, and then you can contact them, and essentially later, once you feel they can work and send you the students, so you being the company which is a super agent, then you would be able to manage them. So let's have a look at what the administrative portal looks like. So this is when you log in, you will be able to see some of the icons and obviously the menu for various functionalities, and obviously it tells what access you have. So from a staff point of view, in the system, you can create your staff user accounts, and those user accounts can be an admin, which is an administrator, counselor, and a data entry officer. So you can have 3 different categories, and depending upon different categories. So administrator would have access to a lot of information. Counselor and data entry would have access to less information within the system. So all you do is you set up the staff page, create a user account simply, and so that you will have the user credentials available. So you will be able to see the users that has been given access and then the staff type they are in the system. Such an accountant is already from a data entry, would have access to the finance side of things. So you do have an ability within the system to access their finance transactions of a student, which is part of the system itself. So you can do, from a data entry point of view, will have access to the finance side for each student, which I will show you, progressively. So the first thing what happens is, there are 2 ways that the application can come in. You can have, application stage, and then you can enter the application directly in the system. So in this scenario, obviously, you are looking at the list of applications that has been submitted, and you can do a new application as well. So that is another element that you will be able to record. So if you are looking at a new application from a data entry point of view, you can enter that, and you can select, obviously, the super agent. Now, the super agent concept is this. You as a company, when you set up the platform, you yourself are the super agent. So Acme Agency is a super agent that would obviously operate this platform. But you may also have an agent who are sub-agents. So what you do is you create agents and then make them as a sub-agents, which means they are sending you the students. So you can record them, because down the track, as you receive the money from students and pay back to college, then you will be able to pay back to sub-agent the commission that is agreed. Sometimes there is a situation where an agent, where yourself, you may not have a direct relationship with the institute. In that scenario, you may have someone as a super agent. So let's say you have a University of Sunshine Coast, you don't have a direct relationship, but you can go through another agent and you make them a super agent, so that they would then be able to take your application. So essentially you become a sub-agent, but you can still record so that you can claim the invoice to the super agents instead of the institute. So you do have a facility whereby you can, contact the institute, send the institute directly, or send it to another agent who would have a direct relationship with the institute, and they will then go through that process. So you can create sub-agent login as well in the system. So in the setup process, obviously you would set up, some of the information. So for Australia, GST tax, you can set up the account ledger. So later on, we can use this to export the information from MYOB or other accounting platforms in order to specify what sort of amount you are receiving and what head it is. You can also set up the numbering system so that the invoice number and others are part of the system. So it automatically gets invoice number, receipt number, and quote number are subsequently picked up. The institute can be set up in the system. So as many institutes that you work with, and for each institute, you can then go to course management. So which means that each institute, there may be some of the courses that they are offering, and then their fees, duration, and the commission percentage that we are, going to get from that particular institute. So this is something that you set up in the system. So you set it up as an institute, and then you set it up the courses within that institute to make it ready. Once you have done that institute for every institute, you can then set up an intake date. So some of the, let's say if a university level, you may have bachelor courses that have a different intake dates. So this will help then later on when the application gets recorded in the system. So we have an institute, we have a course, we have an intake set up, and also it's got every institute, there is a folder whereby you can upload the latest application form that is received from the institute or the college, so you can download. So it's not just the data entry system, but it also provides the file upload facility within the system. So set up your courses, so you can set up all the courses that may be offered at different institute. You can also set up an email templates. These are important because in the system, you do have a facility to send an email to your students, which get recorded. Okay, so your question is institute add page. So you go to institute home, add new institute, and then you would be able to give a code number and the institute name, contact person, contact and website address, and active and inactive. So you put basic information about that institute, and then once you get the institute, then you go through and add the courses. Yes, you can add. All of these are, yes, you can add, sorry, let me check here. Can we add course in the same institute? Yes, obviously what you do is you set up your possible courses, and then you go to institute. When you go to institute, you go to there and you can add a new course into the institute. So obviously, this is where you will define what course is being offered in this institute, what is the type of the course, and if there is directly associated, what is the commission we receive, how much is the standard sub-agent commission that we will get, what the commission is for, is it for a full course, 1 year or 6 months, and then the course duration. Absolutely. So each institute will have many courses. So, the Bachelor of Business Accounting or Bachelor of Business may be in 5 different institutes. So they may have different duration, different fees, and different commissions. So absolutely, you've got that facility available. So the email template I was talking about, you can create your email template. This is very useful so that every time you don't have to type in. So you can create the email template, and then, once you set up an email template, you can use that email template when you are communicating back to the student. You can also update your bank account details. Why? Because that will then appear in the student invoices. So when we are generating and we are giving. There is a permissions, so there is some of the permissions that you can control, especially not allow general staff to delete some of the information, so which is something that you can control to ensure that staff do not make unnecessary mistakes within the system. So that's more for a setup. Once the setup is done, then we go through an application stage, which I was showing you. And then the application stage can be obviously new application, and we can go through a process of receiving an application. There is another element to this as well. Before even going to application, if you've got an inquiry, so some students comes and they are not ready for the application, but they're just coming as an inquiry, or you do a seminar within a certain place, then you can use the CRM lead management facility. So we would encourage you to then create a lead, and lead is something very limited information. We are asking someone to provide us first name, mobile, email, and the last name, and then we get, okay, so how did we get them? So maybe they came and walk in, they contacted us by internet, we did a school visit, so existing student referrals. So lead source we calculate, we select, and based on that we record what inquiry they have made for letter of offer, or visa, or HSC, what sort of career interest. Now this is just an inquiry, somebody going to your website, filling out and I'm interested to study Bachelor of Accounting. That's all. That's all they have made. They have not, actually applied, but they have just shown an interest. So those sort of cases, what we call them as a lead. So you can create a lead, test a lead 2, and then obviously you can have a mobile number and then the email addresses, and then you can say, okay, they walk in. So there was, basically, it depends upon if there's any specific, it's a rating, hot, cold, warm, study mode, what they are interested in, they are interested in letter of offer, okay? And they might be selecting, yes, you can add lead source. So this is where the setup comes from. So you can set up, interested in, accounting course. So something like that can be used to add, and then the system will automatically check if there is a email, another lead already exists with that, so that it doesn't allow you to create that lead. But once it is done, lead is created. So once the lead is created, it assigned to the staff, and staff will then follow it up through a process, what we call as an activity. So you may have a phone call, you can schedule a phone call next week, or you can email them, from the system, or task. The students can write in their own language as well, because this is just a text, so it can appear as long as, based on the keyboard, this can be any character. So this is not stopping you to record in different languages. So you can record in there, and system will record in, Unicode languages. So once you go through contact, and then there comes a time when you might go through a process of converting this lead, and they say, okay, well, I'm interested now to apply, then you may convert them as an applicant, or you may directly convert them as students. So if you convert them as an applicant, then how it works is obviously you would click on that letter of offer, convert, and the lead is converted. So in this process, when we go to the applicant, now we've got the test lead 2, and then we've got application is received. Now we can go through the process of recording, or what we call as the courses and other details. So this is where now the student has made, so this is another approach. They come through an inquiry and then get converted as an applicant. And then you start saying, okay, the students wanted to do Bachelor of Accounting. These are the 6 colleges that are providing Bachelor of Accounting. So we can select that, and depending upon that, the intake dates are then automatically provided. And then you would be able to say this is a new application. We don't know the COE number at the moment, and then we can record. So we've added a course, and once the course is added, then you go through a process of obviously editing the course, and then say, okay, so we've got that is the course that they are going to apply. Then you can go through the process of updating the profile. You can have more information, addresses, but most importantly, so we have received the application. Now we are going to, we have some status as well, cancelled, completed, pending, depending upon what status it is. Sometimes the application, students may make the application, but they are no longer, contactable. So you've got that. But in that scenario, as you receive an application, you will then forward that application to the institute, and then you will expect to receive a letter of offer. So when you receive a letter of offer, you can, so you have not, but we are expecting to receive in 5 days. Once you receive the letter of offer, today you have received, have we forwarded to agent? Which day we forwarded? That's absolutely. That's, again, the notes can be in any language, as long as, depending upon what keyboard layout that you have done. So you can update that information, and next time you go, we will have a new icon for COE tracking. So it will tell us copy of payment received from the students or not. Now we have issued, obviously, as per our previous process, we have received the letter of offer. We have forwarded to a sub-agent or student, and we are waiting for the payment to get processed. So now when that happens, you will then go through copy of payment received, and then once you've got that amount deposited, let's say 5,000, and then we've got that updated, and we can say, how did we receive that? We received the direct transfer, and then, COE request received from the students is on today. And then you can also say date payment made to college on today itself, and then you save. And later on you can, yes, so the COE will be for each course. If there are multiple courses, you will have to go add multiple courses, and then COE will be created for each course. So there will be a facility on that. Once you receive a COE, obviously, and then that could be the COE number that you are receiving, and then the issue date today, and we forward it on the same day, so that process is completed. So once the COE is completed, the next step is to convert the student. We are still in application stage, so we can click this convert to student. However, in this process, you have a number of options as well. So you can do a refund as well, apply for refund, a refund received, and refund sent. All of these processes also available. There's also a diary note that you can record. Again, you can type in whatever you would want against the student or applicant. So these features are there to add a new course. Again, you've got that facility. So you have an option to manage that application to the point that they are ready to convert. When they are ready to convert, which means yes, so there is a profile, it depends upon the OHSC request. So if it's an OHSC request, we have to select OHSC provider and OHSC expiry date. So you've got that facility available as well. So we've got letter of offer, visa service, or OHSC 3 services linked in within the system. And then as I'm clicking in, it provides the list that we have set up in the setup process. So now, going to the convert student, once you convert, so applicant to a student, so we've got converted, so the student ID is 244, now we go to 244, now we've got, the information. So we then will be able to start setting it up depending upon what has been agreed to, and then we can, it automatically brings the details from the courses. Now, we can enable and then put all the details that is actual information. The courses information comes, then you can, set it up saying, okay, 40,000, and then COE deposit amount 5,000. So all of these status you can do because now you are specifying the course. Actually, student has been created, so we can start issuing the commission. And if there is any, agent that we are going to XYZ consultant and we are paying them 2%. So could be that because you're receiving 10%, you're paying 2%, you can set this up in the system. So once that is done, so obviously you can then have a look at who is the sub-agent linked with the course. You can amend if it's required. And now will be the process of going into finance section and then starting to schedule the payment. So schedule amount is $40,000. Those sort of things will be coming from the report. So there are reports that is available that you will run from the system in order to get those data. So you've got a COE expiry, and there are other relevant reports, and that will give you the information and you need to filter it out. It does, being a web-based system, it does not provide an alert, but it's more of, your business process to export, a business process to run those reports to get the data that you're looking for. Now, within the course payment, you have two options. One is a course payment, one is a miscellaneous. So in the course payment, when you say alert, what sort of alert you're looking at? Okay, so I think in this scenario you can obviously for each of the students. So we have an element within here. There is a visa expiry date and there's a visa number. So you could use this and run a report and then see the next list of expiry that is happening in next month, and then you can go through the process from the report. Because from a system point of view, you will have to go to that students to view what is the visa expiry date over here, which will obviously provide you the information, but you may not go. You may simply run a report and say, okay, what are the list of visa that is expiring next week that I need to contact, or what are the list of visa that is expiring in this next month, so which I can contact them. Not searching, you just have to run a report. So it's more about, so application list. So if I'm just looking at this, it'll provide the information as in a report that you can export, and then you can, you can filter it based on some of those columns, or you can export and then have a look. So yeah, it's more about the process that you would use, rather than going through individual. So in this scenario, we obviously can upload the picture, which will then picture will come over here. From a finance section, now if we say I want to create 6, 8 installment of 40,000, 10%, sub-agent I'm paying 2%, and there is a referral amount or a cashback if there is, then you can have that as well. So generally in this scenario you could have 4-month frequency. So you can see I'm trying to create 8 installment or even 6 installment depending upon every 6 months. So as a Bachelor of Accounting course, and then you can generate schedule. So what the system does is now it creates the payment plan. As you can see, the payment plan has been created. And then if there is a paid amount, there's a referral amount, there's a cashback as well. The reason we have this is sometimes you may give a special arrangement to the students, but then at the end of the year you want to run a report and say how much cashback we have given. So 10% and so on. So in this scenario, what happens is now the invoice is created. You can generate the invoice in PDF. So which will have, obviously, so ABC College Australia, so it will bring out the telephone fax as it is set up, and then you can send this to the college. So that's the invoice. And as you are receiving, you can record student paid only 5,000, and then date of payment is this. You can have an applied discount, or sometimes you can even give a loan to the students, and later on you can get it back. Yes, when you say different bank account, this is the invoice that you are sending it to a college. So are you saying that you can have different bank account for different colleges? Okay, so you do have from the system point of view, it is linked with one invoice. I think I did show you the bank details that will come based on that. But it is we can customize it if you would want to further have multiple bank account details linked with institute. So that is something we can customize and add that feature if that is an important one. But as it stands, the system only has one invoice. Yes, that's for the commission claim. Absolutely. So, in scenario that I was showing you, once you set it up, so there are two options. Okay, so obviously you are receiving 500. The system calculates 500. And then you can say not yet received, means the payment, you are making the full payment. But if it's received, obviously you are making sure that you have received the $500 from this one, and then commission is received, which means you are only claiming, you are only giving back 4,500 to the college. And each of the received commission, then you can pay to sub-agent. It depends upon what we can do is, if you're looking at having a multiple, we would have to, in this scenario, let's say in your questions, if you would want, we'll have to set up these bank account details as a multiple option. And then as you are creating the invoices, you can link which bank account you want to link with. Generally, only one bank account is used, but then you can have we can customize if that is something that's very important for you. So once we received from the college, we have taken the money we have received. So in that scenario, we can then record the payment back. So 2% of 5,000 is $100, but now, that is something we can say paid or unpaid, depending upon, we can accrue it and keep it there. Or we can say we have paid, so we can record that commission paid into the system. So that is the process that it will work in the system for us to manage from a payment that it is received from the college. And then you will be able to see, so you've got amount, that those are invoices, payment that are there for that is sent to the college, and the sub-agent payment. And then as you go along, as you can see, we have next time 6667, 5,000. Next time student comes, we got remaining 1666.67. So these are the way that you can always keep track of all the commissions against your student, and most importantly, you can run list possible payments. So you can run, let's say, this particular student, 244. So we can run saying these are the possible payments that we are going to receive. So this is how you can never miss your, payment. So unpaid commission, student sub-commission pending, OHSC application with expiry date between 2 dates, student application with visa expiry between 2 dates. Now this is, so these reports, all of these reports, you will have a look in order to manage and get the data and manage those information. So this is where all of these are very critical for you to review and run them. And you can see we've got around 38 reports that will give you the data about what you are entering, what you are tracking, and so on. But it is obviously relies upon the data that you have recorded. So you can manage the payments, invoices, you can manage the receipts, and then obviously depending upon that, you can manage the commissions as well, and you can generate the invoices and receipts accordingly. Same thing you can create for miscellaneous payment. You may have enrollment fee, late payment, material fee, airport pickup, and others. You can also do that. Again, apart from course tuition fees, you've got that facility, but you've got miscellaneous fees that will also be able to manage from here. So from a student's point of view, you will have the student history from the point they inquiry, They're going to be managed through their process, and as the date comes, you will already have set up their payment plan, and based on that payment plan, you can then generate an invoices from the system and send it to the students, and they can then manage it from there. Apart from this, obviously, apart from managing the students, you do have a facility to record diary notes for each student on any notes that you would like, and then also send a mailing list. So if you would want to send an email to all the current students studying Bachelor of Accounting, so you can see test lead 2, you can select all of them, and then that would allow you to select the template. Now, feed you orientation and other type of template, and then you can send an email and add to student communication log as well. So it's got a facility to communicate to students, to application, and to your sub-agents as well. So depending upon who are your sub-agents that you would want to communicate, and you've got that facility to do that. You can generate an invoices, bulk invoices in the system as well. So if you are looking at I want to generate one invoices for all the students that has the payment due date, all you do is select all of them, and you have now $21,556.92, and then you can update the invoice number, and then you can generate the invoice. So you've got the facility to do it in bulk, so which means that you don't have to, you can create an individual invoice and email them from the system, but you can create it as a bulk and then send a bulk invoice to them as well. So you can set this up as a create invoice, and then you can have these as an invoice number. And then once you have done that invoice number, then you can use that invoice number to find the invoices, and you can view the list of invoices that is there, or you can simply generate an invoice that will be sent to the college with all the list and then your commission, how much you have received and what is remaining. So all of these can be obviously automated, which means it's going to save you a lot of time in order to do that, because you've got system. And you can do the same thing with all your sub-agents as you are receiving the money for unpaid or paid, whatever situation it is. You will then be able to export it into Excel and then send them off as well. So that's a process that would allow you to manage that. Okay, and as I've said, reports are very important. So if you would want to find out all the invoices for a particular college, then you would be able to run all the invoices and then see the receipt number. So that will be your reconciliation process. Staff can share the information other than student related, means staff specific information, or what kind of information you're looking for. Between staff to staff, is that right, Judy? Between staff to staff, like the notes between staff to staff is what you're looking for. Now, yeah, at the moment we do not have that facility. We do have a to-do list management. You can assign it to another staff. So there is a facility that you can create a task and assign that task to another person so that they will know that what task needs to be done. But that's about it. But not the information sharing between staff. It's more directed with students and the applicants and their finances and so on. So it covers the operations of agencies, so which means the agencies will be able to have all the data within the system, be able to manage their students, be able to record the finances. And then sometimes what will, it is possible that, the students may withdraw or that sort of things may happen. So in this scenario, you do have a facility to invoice, and then it could be possible that the invoice is not going to be recovered anymore. So in this scenario, you can do an invoice credit facility within the system. So which means invoice credit will be able to say, okay, we are no longer going to receive any money because the student has withdrawn, and then you can set up an invoice credit for all. So which means that those invoices are no longer payable. So these are all settled. So whatever we receive, that's how much we have paid, been paid. So that's something you can do to manage that. Your invoices are still there, but you have not received. All right. Any other questions that I can clarify? Yes. Okay. I'm reading your question. And regarding the login, can the student or subagents? Okay, so only subagents can log in. So this is not for students. Only subagents or an agents. So obviously there is a licensing provision. So as you have a subagents that you can create the username, and they will be able to log in. Yes, but not the student. Also, can we see what you would want to see? What kind of statistics? So all the statistics is more from the reports. So you'll have to generate a report export. So all the information related with the data comes from the reports. So students number by institution and status. Let's say if we are looking that, so it tells say, okay, in ABC College Australia, there are 66 students enrolled. Australia College, there are 65. So these are all reports that obviously gives you some of the information that you may be looking for. But you can get students enrollment list by year and month. So that sort of again gives you an information about each month how many students been enrolled. And further you can always list all the students, get all the students that is there in the system, export the data to Excel and do a further analysis if you would want. We have standardized those reports, which are mostly used for your purpose. But then on top of that, you can always export all the data and then try and do those further statistics if you would require. Okay, fantastic. Any other questions? Okay, great. So is this something that you would see it would help you manage the operations at your end, and it is something that you are after? Okay, great. So yeah, so that's the information. Have you? I believe Vishal might have already sent you the price guide and other information. Jordan can communicate in relation to that, and then yes, I'll let Jordan know, and he can communicate and then discuss about the pricing and other fees. Generally, the price guide is not in front of me, and then there is the tiered. So I think the best is who should we call? I will just ask Jordan to give you a call today.
Hello.
Hello, yes?
Yeah, Pramesh, thank you for your explanation. I have some few questions that before you sending the email.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, we have an online pages that where students can write when they first arrive. So ITO agents also provide kind of the pages that student can type when they first arrive, or?
When they first arrive, no, because the students is not given any access on RTO agent platform, so they do not have access to that. That notes needs to be entered by a data entry or a counselor.
So should be the receptionist that they can write down, right?
That's correct. So yeah,
they get the information from the student.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
RTO agent is very agency centric. It's not a student centric. It's for agency business. And our product like RTO Manager, which is for a college to run college business, that one has the facility, because it has got agent portal, it has got student, but that's for the college. But this one is more for the agency business. Yeah, so it's more administrative.
So is there the maximum number of the letters in the name box? Because there are many students whose names are long?
I think those sort of things can be configured. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there is plenty of options, characters already allowed, but those are configurable. If you're saying someone has more than 100 characters in first name, there can be a more stuff in there. Maybe in relation to your question, register for counseled only students, so they are not going to a course or anything, they're just coming for counseling only? Okay, yeah, so I think you can still use it for a student. You can still record it, but don't add any course. So you can simply add a student, okay, and then create their profile, and then simply use the note facility and don't worry about the course. You can still manage that. So they can still be a student, they can still be recorded, and the notes can be recorded against the student, and you don't need to have the course details. Then when the children, absolutely, that's correct. Okay, Cedric, other question?
Do you guys offer the application apps for students to check their payment or status of their study?
Yeah, that is again, we only have in RTO Manager, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not in RTO Agent. So this is more for an agency. The other part for engaged, like students receiving warning letters, students wants to see their timetable, students wants to see their payments, and others is what that platform provides. This platform is only for agency, so students don't have access to this.
Okay.
Yeah, you can, Judy, to your answer, you can have many offices, register the students by offices. Yes, I mean, you can, I would say that you can set up your, business as a main, and then you can set up those offices as an agent. So that way, then those offices will have their own usernames, and then they will then be able to register your students from any offices. So you would need to give the sub-agent access.
So I think I heard that there is a notification function to staff, but is there auto notification function to students when their visa expires or payment periods are closed?
Yeah, so the auto notification is something that has to be built and be customized. Like currently what we are saying is you've got a report and then you can run the report and saying, okay, student list with visa expiry between dates, and you can run a report and then guide the staff to be able to follow them up. But if you would want the system to automatically pick up and send you those emails, it is possible. We have done that for our RTO Manager client, and that is something it doesn't have to be in the system. It is done as an engine. So we create an engine, and then an automated email can be sent to student as well as to your staff.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
For tuition fee payment, can you also put the exact due date of each payment into the system?
Yes, that's what you do. That is very important because that's what you do for any students when you're setting up a payment. You have a due date of payment. And that is the reason why you can later on keep track of when the payments are due, so you can follow up with your student. So I created in a bulk process, and I created 6 installments of 40,000, automatically broke it down to individual installment of 6666, and that's how it works. And then you've got an amount that is paid, and so on. Yes, I will ask Jordan to give you a call, our sales manager, in relation to discussing about the costing. Okay, should we contact you, Judy? or who you would want us to contact? To Cedric. Okay, no problem. Any other questions, Cedric, from your end?
Last questions. Can I get statistics on how many application forms we have launched to each school? Or
Yeah, I think that's a report. So
yeah,
so application. Yeah, so you're looking at students by institute. So you can have a list of all institute or individual institute, and then you will be able to run a report on that. Yes.
Is only for enrolled students, right?
Yeah. Or you can do for enrolled students, and you can do for applicant list as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can have a look at application list for this particular pending offer, COE request draft, and so on. So there is other. This is what you're looking for: application list by institute and course.
Yes, great. Yeah.
But one thing is very important, for your comfort is if you would want any report, as long as the data is there, we can write custom report for you. Okay, if you would want to say, give me the figure analysis or something, through the report, that's not a problem. As long as the data is there, our developers can write a custom report for you. We can definitely schedule another demonstration. That's okay. That's not a problem. Today is more of a high-level overview. I think it's as part of the system, you do get intense training. So I think one thing we can probably suggest you is you can start up with the base system with the one user, and then just get it trained. So that way you can start mapping with your business process about how you operate and so on. That is going to really then give you a capability of the system. So I've given you a high-level overview, shows you, but if there is any further questions, we are happy to clarify them as well. All right, thank you all. Cedric, I will ask Jordan to contact you shortly in relation to that.
Yeah.
And then we'll be happy to clarify any questions. Thank you all for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speak shortly. Thank you.